Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a what if? Probably not the one you were expecting. So, what if Annie was abandoned? An Attack on Titan what if? Very out of the blue for me, but I thought I'd try something new. So, an explanation behind this what if, so I don't have to do it later. Annie was abandoned by the other warriors, so Reiner, Berthold, and Marcel. He is alive in this one. The reason being that it is of my opinion that Annie had more of a reason to stay or to go than Reiner did. So they just abandon Annie because they view her as a lost cause. So we get to Annie waking up, seeing that her fellow warriors abandoned her on a foreign land. This is quite scary to any child. But she is only doing this for her father. Well, she's doing this for many reasons, but the main one is her father. So, Annie decides to transform into a Titan and run straight to the gate. This does take, I'm going to say 2 to 3 days, because they, in canon, in the manga more accurately, they ran. Well, Annie did, and it wasn't specified for how long, but I believe it said something that she'd been running for a couple days. So, by the time she does get to Walmaria, or the outer part of Walmaria, she'll be too exhausted to transform again, as she'd be in the Titan for too long. And so, the moment she comes out of her Titan, she'd just collapse and stay there for a couple minutes, about an hour or two before she wakes up. And when she does, she wakes up outside the gate. She's actually impressed to a degree, seeing it, and also to a degree seeing it as beautiful. No one in Mali has ever been able to construct such a thing, so she just chalks up to Eldia being technologically more advanced than Mali, which isn't true, but yeah. As Annie was at the gate, marvelling at it and just resting, a couple scouts appear, questioning her as to why she's out, or outside the walls. Annie makes up a lie that her parents threw her out from a village, and the scouts, knowing that it's too dangerous for a child, take her inside the walls. Annie herself knows that this is her best bet, as she can't transform, because then she'll risk being overpowered, because she's too tired. She won't have the energy to fight. And it would work in the favour of both, unknowingly, to bring her inside. The scouts talk about taking her to an adoption agency or to an orphanage, as well as Annie inquires about their gear. The scouts reply that it was designed to kill Titans. Annie reassures herself that her decision was the right one, because fighting people who know how to kill Titans is not the best move, especially for her in her weakened state. But she also sees another thing. The people she walks past, they're happy. They're not as how Marley described, but she also notices another. Happy families. Sons playing with fathers, mothers telling stories to their children, children playing in the streets, people just having a good time. This changes her outlook on life. Well, not change it fully, but it makes her realise that they're no different from the people in Marley. That they're just people. So she decides to slip away from the scouts and comes across a young blonde-haired boy being bullied by 3 people. This reminds her of Rainer in many ways. The situation of Rainer, but the boy seems to be similar to Berthold in many ways as well. She decides that she's going to be here a while, so making potential allies is a good call. She decides to walk up so as to not be noticed. After all, you wouldn't want to be noticed by someone you're about to sneak attack. Armin is just being bullied. The bullies kept on bullying Armin. That was until one of them received a punch to the jaw by Annie. Armin just looked up awestruck because someone had actually came to his aid. This was relatively new, although 2 others before would always keep coming to save him, his best friends. This person was new. He'd never recognised her before. And she had just jumped in to save someone she didn't even know. This, to Armin, proved courage. The other 2 had prepared to fight. Armin was calculating that she wouldn't be able to go up against a 3v1. That was until the 2 boys noticed that there were 2 other people coming. They noticed a boy, but they weren't scared of him. They were scared of the girl who was right behind said boy, and they ran. Both Meeksa and Aaron managed to get there on time, only to see that there was Annie there. They didn't know her name, of course, and assumed she was bullying Armin, until Armin vouched for her that she had protected him. This was a first for the 2. No one had ever actually jumped. No one else besides them had actually jumped in to save Armin. So Annie had their thanks. Annie told her story of how she was an orphan, or how her parents abandoned her outside the walls, and that she had nowhere to go. Aaron, because he lives in a welcoming household, decided to invite her to his house. Unknown to Annie, this had changed the fate of the world. She had found that the Jaeger family were actually quite accepting. She told her story to Mr. and Mrs. Jaeger, and for one of the first times in her life, she felt like people cared about her, and to her, it was a new feeling that she wasn't comfortable with. She was never comfortable at all expressing her emotions that much, but being with the Jaeger family, it felt refreshing. Annie felt as if that she was a new person. Weeks would go by with Annie spending time with the Yeager family, and Annie would change. She'd be a bit more open, but not tell the real story. She'd grow close enough to the point where Erin, Mikasa, and Armin were her friends. And I hope you guys enjoyed this What If. I actually had quite a blast making it, because it's not a My Hero What If. I don't know when I will get back to making those, but the burnout is still a factor. But I just thought, over the past 3 uploads, as I'm making this one, I've just been trying new stuff, and doing an Attack on Titan What If was on the agenda for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this What If. I certainly enjoyed making it. And see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.